Hey guys, hey everyone, it's Melissa here. How's everyone doing? Okay, so let's talk about being a Christian. Let's talk about that this morning and taking a beating for your faith. Let's talk about that. So, um, so Kevin Leandro and I were emailing yesterday, and he, it's like the enemy just attacking, right? Like Satan attacking. So a lot of people don't know how to have relationships nowadays. They just don't. They don't know how to communicate. So let's see. So I don't even know where to begin. I think there was like 300 emails exchanged in the last 4 days, if I'm right. So we were emailing yesterday, and I put some pressure on. I kept emailing him as well as him emailing me. Sometimes you have to do that to get through things. You have to keep on talking to get through things. So, basically what you want to do is words matter. Words are huge, right? They are huge on what you say and how you say it and when you say it and uh, whether you build or whether you tear down. Words are um, really what, creates things and destroys things. So I just read a book on this too with business, how our words really create things. Um, so when you're in a relationship, um, what you want to do is build each other up. That's what you want to do. And Kevin Leandro just kept tearing at me yesterday. One accusation after another. None of it, pretty much none of it's true. Pretty much none of it. So I basically married my husband, not because I'm a gold digger, and they know that. My in laws know that. Why would I? Where would be the gold, right? Where would be the gold? I mean, I grew up with my husband. His parents didn't have much money. My parents didn't have much money. Like everyone back in the day, nobody, as a kid, I don't know how it was for our parents, but we pretty much didn't think of money, right? You didn't base things on money. We're living in a society now that bases things more on money than ever before. Um, I grew up, my dad said once he'd probably always be poor, although I don't know how that is. But anyways, my dad, we were always out and about with people. I remember being a kid and taking a bath in the river with my parents because the house my dad brought to fix up didn't have water. So we all had to go take a bath in the river, right? And my dad was a country boy, so that's no big deal to him. It was to me when I saw a turtle in the river. I was scared to death. But it was, we were out. My dad was a hunter and fisherman, so we were out all the time, outside, shooting bow and arrows, um, fishing, sledding, playing outside all the time. My mother actually would say, outside, and she'd lock the screen door, and my brother and I would be outside, playing. So, we weren't allowed to come in and out. You know, we were pretty basic, and we would, oh boy, let me see. We would visit, my relatives all the time. I had relatives in Manchester. I had relatives in Deerfield, New Hampshire. So if I wasn't growing up, if we were not in school, usually after school, we had people coming over constantly. Um, I'm still a little sick. Work called me in. I'm still down, but I'm going to go in. But anyways, I can feel my face warming up. So, um, I was over my cousin Cindy's, Mike and Colette McCarr's, over on Mount Delight Road is where I grew up in Deerfield. If I wasn't there, I was across the street to Mike's mother's, Hannah, my grandmother's sister. They were all related on Mount Delight Road. If I wasn't there, I was at the Martells. If I wasn't there, I was walking over to the Scribners, my grandmother's brother, um, who they had like 5 kids, the Scribners. And if I wasn't there, I was up walking up the road to my Aunt Linda and Dave Mann's house. Um, and they were, yeah, they were up there with a field. They had land. My whole family has land. My grandparents, my Aunt Linda. So anyways, and then if I wasn't there, I was in Manchester at my grandmother's who moved all the time. We would be out shopping. I'd be out, my aunts would have me sometimes at Weirs Beach. My brother and I slept over there, or we'd hang out. Or my grandfather would be visiting, or my dad's friends from work. On and on it went. I mean, we were just constantly nonstop busy growing up. So, I mean, that was how my life was. Very popular in school, once the boys started liking me. Very busy, high school, very busy, boyfriends, etc. My husband and I, we both, we didn't really, money wasn't an issue. He was my best friend since you know, like high school. And then we went to school together since like second grade. So money was not an issue. So, nobody knew what anyone had for money unless you had money. So like my best friend Chris, they had this huge house, still there. Circle at the Circle, huge white house. So we knew that they had money, but my other friend Billy Joe, she was in a trailer park. We did not have like thoughts about money. So when I got married to my husband, I mean, I didn't, I thought his parents were kind of normal. And then once I got married to him and had kids, everything changed. It was now, they didn't really bother with me and my husband, not much. I mean, we went out to, my husband's Aunt Lynn's campground and would go swimming, and we had a float. We would do that. I got to know his family a little, but once I had kids, his mother decided it was time to argue with me about how to raise my kids, whether I homeschooled, whether I sent them to public school. That was an argument. Whether I let them listen to, rock and roll when they were young, or whether I didn't. Whether I let them have hard candy, or whether I didn't. Whether I let them have ice when they were little, or whether I didn't. And all this stuff and this nitpickiness, it was just like, look, I'm the mother and you're not. So, back off. And I had to put my foot down. I mean, they were just like, well, this is what I did with my kids, and this is what I did with my kids. And it's like, so what? These are my kids, and this is what I do, So there was a time I had to put my foot down and say, look, when there are two principles here, grandparenting and mothering rules, not grandparenting. So, in the name of grandparenting, once I had kids, it was like, oh, we now want to be in your life, and we now have found meaning for our life, and we're just going to be parasites and live off your life. And I was like, I don't think so. You had your chance. You had your chance. You raised your kids how you wanted, and just because you're grandparents doesn't mean that you can do whatever you want with my kids. I'm getting a phone call, so I need to wrap this up. Usually I don't answer my phone unless I know the number. But I'm going to wrap this up. But so because of this, I mean, I heard I was a gold digger because she got in my bills. I heard all kinds of awful things about me. And you know what? This is the way people tear down families. This is how it happens. And then the other thing